Hello, everyone.
What's up?
Welcome to episode 3 of HackCast with Quills.
And KT's actually here this time.
Yeah. Anyone who has the thing. Oh, no, I know I'm listening to myself.
These
Oops.
are what they look like as well. Enjoy.
It is.
Yeah. Face reveal. Oh my god.
Okay. So yeah, you know me. I think I've been in all of them. You know, Loka. He's been in all of them.
Sorta.
You might not know
Luigi is a
if
special
you-
guest apparently.
If you showed up last time, you might not know who King Toad is because he didn't show up because he was playing Mario Party.
But he
Care
did
to
35
elaborate?
turns this time, so not
Care
as
to, care to explain yourself, King Toad?
My memory is worse than a goldfish's.
This entire episode is just purging you. That's it.
Yeah. We're gonna berate you this whole episode, just so you know. And yeah, there's also
lined up. What happens again?
there's also a very special guest from a land down under called Quills.
Oh,
You might remember him, you might not.
Do you wanna
But Mario
explore-
sure
do you
can.
Right here. It's right here.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Hi, I'm Quills.
Like, just like
I do a lot of stuff. I'm probably like the oldest person in the community. I'm 33. I've got 2 kids. I'm a mod and host and stuff of like the ROM Hack Marathon and SM64 ROMHacks.com and stuff. And I was a speedrunner. Now I'm a hacker. I made Mario Kart, remember? And I'm a professional artist, which is possibly why my hacks seem weird to you.
yeah. You better get back into the PPSH game, though.
Did you see that someone bots my world record by 7
Oh.
seconds?
Somebody actually did.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know, some Scottish person I've never seen before.
Yeah,
he's
Shrek-
gonna
Shrek
pop
just
by
came
real
in and
quick
be like-
7 seconds.
I haven't verified it yet, but I was complaining about it in the speedrun channel instead of verifying it.
I refuse to verify this.
What's it called? There's at least there's competition in one of the categories. Now I actually have an excuse to go into the 20-star round and actually play 20-star.
You're gonna go, it's fun. I mean,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the swimming, probably would have grinded it down a lot more already.
The swimming's actually really fun in my opinion. I like it.
It's fun, but it's an easy time loss.
Yeah. Well, I guess for 20-star it's the case, and 40-star there's other things.
Oh yeah, I can imagine it'd make a difference in 40 stars. SimCity would be everything.
Yeah. No, and that and the mole fight. Or no, the mole fight's also in 20-star.
Fucking fight, man.
Okay.
Fucking wrenches.
I forget. Now it's
Every time
coming
I'm
back.
okay, it destroys me, or I crash right before then.
Oh yeah, that level's stupid and crashes. That's another thing I have to worry
Yeah,
about with
wind.
40-star. That's
Like,
another
you get
reason I
blown by
don't.
the wind in 2 different directions at once, and it's like you have to cross that section. So like you crash if you're on pace every time. So I had to change my route to a slower one, so it wouldn't happen.
What's it called? Also, the game just crashes a lot when you're on N64, or maybe just on my N64. But
I've
that's
never
another
tried to run it, but I don't have an EverDrive. Just got 2 N64.
yeah. Do you want to talk about like?
Did you make it
your
compatible with
hacking
IQ Player as well?
Do you want to talk about your hacking history? What hacks that you made?
Yeah. Are we gonna start with me?
Yeah, you. No, I just want to like. This is still
Is
like
this
the
my topic?
introduction. It's
Mhm.
still
Yeah.
introduction.
Well, I would like to talk today about, and not just myself, which is always my favorite topic, but like just stories and hacks in general, like
Yeah.
how storytelling and narrative works in a game where you don't have cutscenes and people don't read the text boxes, basically.
Are you? Yeah. People
Including
don't usually
myself.
read text boxes. I mean, you could add cutscenes in like decomp, but I'm assuming we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I've
it's
always-
just like not really Mario. Why is my
Yeah,
camera?
for-
funny?
Like
Get
I've
right
always
moment.
thought if I've ever made an actual like big decomp pack, that I was always going to add some sort of cutscenes or something to it, just to make it like feel like more of a hack. Like it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be a lot, but it would just be it wouldn't even be like voiced cutscenes or like it would just be
Oh, that would be
cutscenes to
strange.
kind of like introduce an area if that makes any sense. Like to like You get what
Yeah,
I'm
we can
saying.
do that with the Guts
Yeah.
text engine.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed what just happened on my webcam.
Wait, what?
He had to fix it because it was pixelated, his webcam.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. My camera's going all blurry.
Yeah. I was saying no.
Oh, I'm out of coffee. No.
Alright, guys, I'll be right back.
No.
I've always thought that, like, first of all, I've always thought that, like, I mean, obviously, most people don't care about story in there. Like, most people care about gameplay, especially if like Kaizo hacks and all that. Like, people don't care about story
And
at
it's just
all.
Mario too. Mario's always been about the raw gameplay and mechanics.
Yeah, like most Kaizo hacks I've seen, people just like have enough story and like things to like glue together with what's it called, like scotch tape the entire hack so that everything feels somewhat connected. In
I
Kaizo hacks.
mean, in a lot of ways, that's all you got to do for a Mario game. That's all Nintendo did.
Yeah.
Like
But
Sunshine
it's
and
like,
Odyssey were like the
Story
closest.
writing. I mean,
yeah.
I used to make comics, right? We have a lot of friends who make comics, and
Oh, okay.
story writing is more than just the words.
Yeah.
If anything, I'd better not use words as much as possible.
Well, I definitely agree with you with that. What I was trying to say is that like story writing is. I'd say harder story writing is, in my opinion at least, is about like actually like making your world feel alive, which
Yeah.
in a way like vanilla doesn't do because it's just like a bunch of areas just like slapped together. But, like if you like
Galaxy did an okay job of that.
Yeah.
Sunshine's a world, you know.
Yeah, Sunshine's a big world. You can kind of like get how everything is connected in Sunshine.
In many ways, Mario 64 is like Super Mario Brothers 1. You know, it's like
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you with that. Like,
It doesn't have much of a distinctive identity. I mean, it has like jumping in the paintings, wall jumping. Not much
Yeah.
else is really distinctive to it.
I guess what stands out is like it's a first of its time back then.
Yeah.
Because like it felt
That's
like you could just go
story,
anywhere at any point.
yeah, like what I wish people did. What I wish was like more common is that people actually like took time to like go into their hack and actually like make each level feel. It's hard to like describe this in like concrete terms, but like you get exactly what I'm saying, Quills, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you mean like a connected world. Everything feels like it's one world. Super Mario World, to an extent, did that because the whole world is Dinosaur Land.
Well, you know what a good example is from the same era, a few years later, of course, because launch game for Mario. But like, Conker's Bad Fur Day's Overworld, like, it's basically a bunch of different themed sections that sort of like bleed out into one combined area, and then like ringed around it in like it's not a skybox, but skybox is like 2D textures that draw the levels that you access behind each of the areas. So it's like you're in one contained open world thing, even though you're going through the loading zones. And I feel like that's something that most people haven't really attempted to do. Like you'll see in a lot of the open world hacks that people like they'll have like a road to somewhere, and then when you go down it and you connect to somewhere else, you're on a road, you know. So it's like there was at least a logical progression from one place to the next.
The game mechanics actually changed
it doesn't seem
drastically
like
too.
Places are actually like next to each other in space.
Yeah, I've never played Conker's Bad Fur Day, but that sounds kind of similar. Even though this isn't a platformer, to Majora's Mask, how you can see like a stone tower in the background, and how you can see like all of the areas like converging in Termina Field.
It's the same
like,
creators as
That's what I was
Banjo.
going for in Mario. I can't remember as Overworld at first, but just because of time restraints, I never really put that much focus into it.
Mass Effect actually kind of does that with the moon, which, you know, Majora's Mask it's pretty much the Majora's Mask concept, but you know.
Yeah.
Each world in Conquer, the game mechanics also change. So I feel like you go to the war part of it, it's a first-person shooter all of a sudden, like third-person shooter.
I love that game, man.
And then the other one that's like Matrix as well.
The movie references are probably really dated for like zoomers, you know, but like
they heavily relied on that too.
And fuck, it was such a breath of fresh air. Like, you know, it's got censorship, but they didn't censor it properly. It's like they did enough of a token censorship so that it would be okay for like Nintendo to be like, yeah, it's censored, whatever. You can still hear them say every swear word. Like they don't always censor it. It's just they sometimes censor it.
Yeah,
I can't
I
believe
know
my
that.
Nintendo game would say hell.
I
How could
remember
it?
that. I do know that game's very vulgar. I just haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't played it.
The craziest
It's very
part.
It's one of those. It's
Like-
one of those games that. It's one of those games that I want to play one day. I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, you should give it a go. It's nowhere near as hard
Yeah.
as like Banjo or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. Did you ever play Grim Fandango?
No.
It was like one of the
Heard
last
it.
point-and-click adventure games made by like.
Oh yeah, I
the
get
team that made
what
all
you're
the
saying.
ones. And
I think
it's
I've
kind of
played
like
some of
that.
their
It's like
other.
Conquest Bad Fur Day is like the last 3D adventure platformer on the Nintendo 64, basically.
Yeah,
And,
I do know it is
all-
like one of the very last games on the N64.
I think the
also
reason
probably-
why it was never really that popular is because it is in essence the same as Banjo or Mario or any other
Yeah,
3D platformer at the time.
It
and
also
it
released
was
after the
saturated.
GameCube did.
or DK64, or yeah, or
It released at the worst time too, yeah, and
Yeah.
it was more than full price. It was like $120 here.
I don't think it got many coverage too.
Wow.
I think it was in Playboy magazines, like it was advertised.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It was advertised as fucking what was it like 12? What was the
12
original
Tales.
title?
12 Tales Conquer
12 Tales?
64.
And then it had some other title as well before that.
Conquer's
when it was, like-
Quest.
No, before they even put Conquer in it, because they were making it at the same time as they were making Banjo.
I-
Oh, that I don't
Well,
remember.
the
I just
thing
know it
with
was
Banjo
12
thing.
Tales.
Oh, it had a really long development. Anyway, what I always thought was funny is that Chris Seaver, the like the creative lead who was the voice of Conquer, he never expected the game to get made. Like he pitched
Oh.
it when he was drunk as fuck up to pitching it as a joke at the pub with other Rare employees to the heads of Rare, and they were just like, "Yeah, that sounds good," and like he was like, "Okay," and then they pitched it to Nintendo, thinking that there's no chance this family company.
yeah,
Like they had such a nightmare with GoldenEye, you know, and like
yeah.
they just went, "Sounds good. We need more adult games in the system."
Well, when you're releasing games like Banjo, it's like, hey, we can trust these guys to do anything,
Yeah.
really.
Rare was like
Replaced water.
probably
It replaced water with
like-
hard liquor. And
Yeah.
Nintendo that
And
day.
poop.
Anyway, what are your guys' topics today?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Do you want to get to like my topic now? Now that like introductory topic is over with.
Yeah, his topic is very interesting, guys.
Okay. So like yesterday, this is the last minute topic because originally I was gonna do the romhacking.com hack competition, but those hacks didn't get released yet, so I couldn't play any of them. And I only want those to be topics whenever people actually whenever it actually releases the hacks. I think that's
like one stream so far or something, right?
yeah, he's only done one stream. I didn't know when it was ending at all, so.
I try not to check it out till like the results are available. Generally, it takes a
Oh
little
yeah, I definitely agree with that thing. But anyway, what I was saying though is that with I'm just trying to. My brain is just.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay. What's it called? So when I was actually playing around with it yesterday, and I played around with it a bit more before this HackCast, and the more I played around with it, the more useful I saw it was. You know what's actually really interesting? You know how there's so basically, you know how in the vanilla game, how there's instant warps in well, you might not notice, but in Dire Dire Docks, there's actually two separate areas. Kind of like how the what's called Lethal Lava Land has two areas, the inside and outside of the volcano. Dire Dire Docks is actually kind of the same
Dry
way.
World.
Yeah, and Wet Dry World as well. And actually also Assisting Sandland in the pyramid. There's
They're actually a few more than people would realize.
Yeah. But anyway, in Dire Dire Docks, there's a piece of collision in the inside of the tunnel in the part that go. You know how in the tunnel how there's it's basically a upside down U in the middle of the tunnel. The reason why that's there is to hide.
You swim into
It's
it,
the
and you swim up and across.
Yeah, you slip up and across. The reason why that's there is to hide the fact that inside of that up and across section, there's actually an instant warp, which basically warps you to the other area of the game without you even like basically how it works. Unlike basically every other warp in the game, it actually is a piece of collision. It's not an object, and it warps Mario to the other level or the other area. It doesn't warp across levels, only across areas. So what it does is it warps Mario to the other area at the position that he's currently at. Although the instant warp can also change the position that Mario gets warped to. I'll explain why that's a thing later in a second. But basically what it does is it warps Mario from area A to B at the same position. So no matter where you're swimming in that little like warp area, you won't notice it because it doesn't warp you to the same point. It warps you to wherever you were whenever you're on the other side of the warp, if that makes any sense.
Mind blown.
Yeah. Instant warp,
like
and
literally a invisible texture that you pass over, and that's the trigger when Mario enters that.
Yeah, there's an invisible, and basically, the collision acts kind of like the death barrier, where it extends upwards. Unlike, and it has to be a floor as well.
Like
I learned
water,
that.
Even.
What?
Or like water, even. It's just like it just extends upwards from wherever it's placed.
Yeah. So it extends upwards from wherever it's placed. Now, what's cool about invisible warps is that they don't have to warp you to a different area. And you might be thinking that's kind of useless, and I'll explain why it's useful in a second. But
it's one of the most famous things in Mario.
Yeah, so you might know the infinite staircase at the end of the game. How that actually works is that there's an instant warp at the very end of the staircase that, those offsets that I was talking about earlier, it sets the offset, the X and Y, or I don't know the exact offsets by memory, but basically the instant warp changes the offsets to the bottom of the stairs so that it actually feels like it's an infinite set of staircases. Infinite staircase. And so that's actually how it's done. But what's actually cool is that because of that exists, here's something cool that I figured out when messing around with the instant warps. You can set that offset value, to be something very small. And the reason why that's useful, basically, if you set it to be X or Z, basically, it just pushes you along. But since it pushes you along on the instant warp collision, which just acts like normal collision, by the way, like it just acts like a regular, just like anything else in the game. It doesn't have sand or anything.
So, like putting Mario over a really long section of instant warp texture.
Yeah, Mario will, if you can actually make it so that Mario gets pushed along that at like a set speed that you set, it's hard to explain without showing. But
it makes that sounds really useful, but except for that you wouldn't retain any actual speed. Like Mario's speed value would still.
Oh no, Mario's speed stuff. Mario's speed it actually pushes Mario, and Mario keeps his speed.
But does it like if you enter it at 32? Can you come out at 40?
It's only. I don't think that's how it works. I think
I was thinking speed boosters and slides and stuff would be. Really
I don't think it works like a booster, or it could work as a booster as long as you had the entire section as a booster. And it'll slow Mario. Mario will slow down at the very end of the section.
Well, it sounds a bit like when you stack one-way lava in slides, and you just go shoot.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying with that. How you can stack one ways, but I'd say this is more. Yeah, I'd say that this is more useful because first of all, it doesn't have to be on the ground. You can be in the air. The floor's below you, and you could be. It could be. I was joking with Loka earlier when I was explaining this to him before the HackCast. You could have it in Kaze's desert bus. If Kaze knew about this, he could make it so that it pushes Mario to the right while he's on the desert. And it just keeps on pushing him while he's trying to get across.
And what was your idea? What did you discover? as well. You discovered BLJ with it.
Oh yeah, I did discover a BLJ, but we're not getting to that point yet. We're just talking about the horizontal ones yet.
Ah, okay.
So, anyway.
Do go on.
This is really cool. It's kind of like a conveyor belt, but also like kind of like wind at the same time. But I wouldn't be talking about this if it was just that. Oh yeah, it also works when you're sliding as well, which is interesting. What's actually interesting, and why I care about this so much, is that there's 3 things here on the offsets. There's offset on x-axis, offset on z-axis, and offset on y-axis. Now, if you set the offset on y-axis to be something like 10 or 50, what it'll do is it'll act kind of like a low-gravity area without any custom code at all. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So,
I was thinking about that for like big slope jumps, like making you just hang in the air, like horizontally. Very, very painfully up close there as you're falling, just be like shit.
Like what's it called? Yeah, like if you have it at 50 vertical, you're barely staying in the air. Also, if you have it really high in vertical, you're gonna go flying into the air. So
that sounds really fun to play with for like Did you ever play Stalker? Where it had like the anomalies, the physical anomalies that you throw the bolt to look for.
I can see that, yeah. But
pretty fun.
I think I sent an I'll explain the idea I had. Another idea I had, but when I'm done explaining how this actually works,
making an entire hack of this instant warp basically in 24 hours again.
I could definitely make an entire hack using these instant warps because another thing what's it called? So yeah, the higher gravity, it's cool. It actually acts kind of similar to what's it called? You know that higher gravity, and it doesn't act like boring high gravity. It actually acts kind of like the high gravity and like, or not high gravity, the low gravity in like another Mario Adventure. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's actually kind of cool.
The low gravity.
Yeah, and another, it actually kind of acts.
Yeah, that's really cool. I loved how that worked.
Although it doesn't scale with your height, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I just fucking love Aglab's games. Shut up.
Yeah, I think everyone.
It's pretty good, I hear.
Yeah.
That am my game though.
Objectively, the best ROM hack ever created.
Let's go.
So yeah, if you. So yeah, when Mario okay, so I'm sorry. So it acts like high gravity. If you have it like 50 is like the highest, you could probably have the Y offset so that you don't go flying. Maybe a little bit higher, but that's about it. But I feel like 10 is a good amount for the Y level, for the Y offset. And then I realized if you can have high gravity, you can have low gravity as well. The first thing I tried was negative 50, and that just caused the camera to go straight into the ground, so that's not a good idea. Yeah. However, what's it called? What did he say? What moment?
EE moment.
Oh yeah, that is E. No, but no, it goes below the ground.
Just sitting on the fucking bottom of the death barrier while you're trying to wall kick.
What was it, Bill? What's even better? So what's it called? So and then I toned it down to negative 10, and that felt like a really cool high gravity, like very high gravity, where it's like you can barely jump off the ground at all. Until I realized something.
Slow sand already exists.
No, this isn't like slow sand. You don't get.
Oh no, it's ruined. He got me thinking that you can do upwards wind. I was like, oh, never mind. Because that you have to go to hex editor to change.
Yeah. And you could probably make it so that, like you have a small like portion that makes you go upwards, and then you go back down, and then you fall back down. But that would be like a slide level thing.
I think you could do a lot with it. Do you have any like examples to show us? I know this is a podcast, but like,
yeah,
I'd love to actually see it in action.
Yeah, I don't want to screen share. it, but I could like record a video and show it in a second. But I want to show you. I'm gonna record a video. I feel like I should actually record a video and show you what I'm about to do, and then Loka can show it on screen because it's very hard to explain this otherwise.
Okay.
But
You sure about that?
I'm gonna set
I'll
the
try.
y-axis to -10. I realized something very crazy that you can do whenever the y-axis is very low. This is gonna be just using a thing.
You gotta screen
Alright,
share
this
this?
is I can't screen share it because it'll break everything, remember?
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah.
It took like
Do it.
10 minutes to already set it up. You know, let's be chaotic. You're right.
Do it.
Well, Knight is right.
Okay.
The goal is to be a professional podcast, right? Do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm just gonna be using yeah.
I can just tell you this chat is very active right now. Just letting you know.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this is really active between King Toad and Okay. So I'm just gonna record a video because I don't know how to explain this in words, but I found a new BLJ if you have the thing too low.
Don't put it too high.
Or what's it called? If you have the downwards acceleration too low.
Oh, okay.
That sounds
Well,
promising.
I just recorded it, and then I know this is a podcast, but I cannot explain this in words how this like exactly works. But if you have that gravity too high, you can do this, which I'm gonna post in there, and then Quill should show it on the stream if you can figure that out.
Yeah.
You should just be able to drag it once you download it. I have to turn it into a .mp4 first. Just 1 second.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna take your time, I'm gonna sneak off and grab a coffee.
Professional podcast.
10 a.m.
No, it's in.
4 hours
Oh.
sleep. Woke up, then had like another 2 hours sleep.
I put the wrong I put the
Sleep
I put my
deprived gaming.
I put my Fantasy 64 run from earlier in there on accident. Okay, now this is what I want to show
Do
you,
that.
and then just like download that and drag it into the stream if you know how to do that.
Show us.
But this is a new type of BLJ, in my opinion. And what's strange is that it's another it's the only other BLJ besides
Ruin everything.
BLJ that I know of. I know you're supposed to open. What did you do? You're supposed
Oh,
to
boy.
had the,
There we go. Does that work?
Should I open it? And maybe that'll...
Like,
click watch stream. Click
Yeah.
watch stream.
Let's see if it works.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay, now it's
It's
working.
laggy as hell. I mean, unless it's paused. But I hope
No,
it's
it's
paused.
actually lagging on my computer. What the fuck?
Oh, let's go.
Quills,
went
can't you
to
just
Sick.
Loka, can't you just drag it on?
Oh my
your
god. 1
screen?
second.
Loka, can't you drag it?
Ooh,
on
I
your
appeared
screen?
twice. Let's go. What's up, guys?
Two Locas.
It's a nightmare. It's Loka and then Mash.
Sorry, just be a second.
Loca, Mash, and Peter Pie finally.
They finally reunite.
Should have known better.
Come back.
Yeah. It's just it's Loka, Mash, and Peter Pie.
Yeah. Long story. Ooh, this looks nice. The hell? What the?
That's really weird.
Oh, see you, man.
He's gonna make a hack out of this. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a super cool BLJ because I still don't understand why it exists. Or I understand exactly why it exists. I just don't. That's what happens whenever you have the what's it called? The gravity too low or too high. I mean, I'm saying gravity, but it's the Y offset because it pushes you into the ground every time you jump, and so if you start a long jump and then go backwards,
Hey, he's back.
that's basically what happens. And it's just, it's nuts. And if you want people to not abuse that, you should have it at 5 for the offset instead of -10 for the instant warp.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you did have low gravity that stopped me from jumping, my first thought would be the BLJ.
Yeah. It actually doesn't stop you from jumping, it just stops you from long jumping.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that hack when you're done with it.
That's gonna be a lot
I'm
of
not
fun.
actually making a hack based off of this. Probably.
Level.
Come on.
Yeah,
Right.
No, I am making. I'm probably just going to be using these mechanics in levels in the future, but I'm not going to like make anything specifically for it. If that makes any sense.
Oh.
But I think I explained. I don't think you. I don't know if you fully understood my explanation. I don't think. Did you even read the? Did you read the message I posted in your project Discord thingy?
Do it again. I wasn't
No, I've been
looking.
busy.
It's like the one that's like multiple paragraphs long.
Yeah, no, I didn't read it just because I've been busy.
Okay, yeah. Well, one of the things.
TLDR.
One of those things in the boss fight that I had an idea for. If it's fine, are you fine with me telling people because it doesn't matter.
Of course.
My idea was to use one of those things, just the X part, not like the high or low gravity. But here's an idea: Ed. Basically, use the instant warp to push Mario back, so that it's kind of like you're running on a conveyor belt. Like basically, it's pushing you, so it's actually pretty difficult to go forward at the level, but like not impossible. And then the difficult thing is that the quote unquote boss is quote unquote throwing bowling balls, like the bowling balls in Bomb Battlefield,
Yeah.
at you in the level, and then maybe there could be like a Chuckya or something else in there. And it would be interesting because
Down the path.
normally wind goes crazy after, like, in my opinion, it's better than like horizontal wind because wind would you would just be flown backwards if you ever jumped, whereas this is like constant, whether you're on the ground or in the air.
It does sound like it's a more versatile use, especially since
Yeah.
you have wind at 2 different directions blowing into each other. The game fucking crashes.
Oh yeah, we found the second excuse to mention this in this.
Yeah, Mr. Comet, did you not know this? Can you I don't know, just a thought. Patch your game?
I think he did say that he might patch the game in the future.
Yeah, people do it all the time. Just look at IOF. Look how successful that is with all those
The
patches.
crashes is way too consistent to be left in hand.
Look at Massive
Yeah.
Challenge.
Yeah, take note of KBRX.
Yeah, and then also just like instant warps in like the intended ways or all in intended method is actually also pretty useful in my opinion. Just because it doesn't require Mario to go to like a different area, and it removes that like downtime in between, and sometimes that's like a big difference.
I've been using them a lot in the different sections of the interior of the Event Horizon in my
Oh, yeah.
Event Horizon sequel hack.
Oh, okay,
And I'm
yeah.
using them to do like trippy dream sequence type things, like suddenly you're in
Oh,
a different
yeah.
version of the same place, or
Yeah, that
suddenly
sounds like
someone's
perfect
standing in front of you in the
for that.
darkness and you're gone.
I know B3313
Yeah.
did something like that as well in a few
Yeah,
places.
the Uncanny Courtyard is actually like legit disturbing the first time it happens.
Yeah,
Like you're just in basically the vanilla courtyard, it all seems fine.
and then
just,
you go
instantly
forward.
in one point, it's just like all of a sudden everything is just dark and evil, and there's like
Yeah.
different shapes, and like the hallway behind you is suddenly really long and stuff. It's done well.
Yeah. What was it? There's another thing. What's it called? But
He forgot.
yeah, I just when I first realized that you could use the instant warp to like move Mario along in like a way that isn't like actually just to warp him somewhere else, I was like, "Holy crap, this is actually useful."
Is there any notable hacks that have used it in any way?
I can't think of any hacks that have used that specific mechanic. I know there's hacks that have used instant warps before, just not like that.
Because you never see like the infinite staircase, like something like that again.
I have seen people use like infinite staircase warps,
Oh,
kind of like that.
which
Like I
game?
think one of the, I think there was a simple flip slide hack that was like that.
Of course, it's a compact.
Yeah. Like
Yeah. AMA did like the I think it was AMA did like the infinite falling hole.
Yeah, that
oh
was the Sonic Adventure 2 level.
Yeah, there's a few uses like on slides and things sometimes where it's like if you go the wrong way, you just endlessly sliding in the same thing and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very common for people to use them in a way that's noticeable. I think the way that I've
Or
noticed it
useful.
being used is sometimes people combine a lot of interior areas of
yeah.
one map
Well,
and they put like black walls between them. And you
Oh,
just,
there's
think
that
that was-
like
Scuttlebug
an area
hack where
walk,
you
it's
keep
not-
falling down the stairs that Andrew uses. There's
Oh
that.
yeah, that one. That one probably uses it.
Yeah.
What's it called? And then I think you were saying about the interior stuff. Yeah, I think PPSH does that as well
Mm.
with the interior because you get if the interiors are the same size as the exteriors, then it's actually useful because you could just have you can just have like a 0 offset and it'll just be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I use like actually warp to a different area, so it's just like
Yeah.
all I'm doing it for. And hackers, listen to this tasty bit of advice.
Ooh.
You know how like when you're inside an area that you could be outside of and you can't fucking see?
All the time.
Oh yeah.
Every single time.
Put an instant warp in the doorway, and then when you're
Yeah.
on the inside, remove the exterior wall, and then you won't have anything that stops you from being able to.
What?
Learn that
That's-
from Quills, people.
I gotta put that in SRMC right now.
It's funny how often like people don't do it. It's a simple solution. It's a little confusing to get used to instant warps, but
Yeah.
like that's got to be the most useful use for them, honestly. Like,
Yeah. But
because like,
I had
everyone has that,
yeah.
that issue, and most people scale around it, but you didn't like. That's not necessary.
yeah. What's it called? With my idea for your I like your collab hack thingy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 90% of my ideas for that hack involve an instant warp in some way.
Nice.
I don't even know why. I've just been thinking about them a lot recently.
I just want to make like
Yeah.
some more generic areas, really, because I haven't been playing them.
What areas?
Themed around something, and so I've got all these like models that are like really nice, but they're not in any particularly like well-made area. So I just kind of want to just use stuff.
I don't want to talk about my level publicly because I want people to experience it for themselves. Like I'm
Yeah,
willing to talk with it.
Stuff that I've done already since it's for a game that hasn't released yet.
Yeah. When I'm talking about a few quills, I don't want people to know exactly because I want people to experience the level for the first time themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The level
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
creating.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I try to never spoil my stuff.
Like I'm only telling you because it's your hack, obviously, but like I don't want to like tell it like publicly to everyone.
I mean, it's a collab hack, so I mean, anyone's
Yeah.
publicly able to access the Discord and contribute if they want. So I mean, there's no.
Yeah, but I just don't want it to be like front and center. You get what I'm saying? So I'm probably not going to talk about the actual level idea until after the call.
Yeah, I mean, what I do is I keep my my ideas and my progress shots and stuff specifically to the Discord for my work, and so if people are interested, they can find it more. Otherwise, they'll be completely unspoiled when it actually releases, because all I'm going to show is like a couple of examples of completed areas.
Yeah.
I kind of have to finish Star Road Masters Challenge. Hope you understand.
Do it.
Yeah. What was it?
I need Mr. L on my
You
life.
need to release a Masters Challenge hack, fully release once.
We were talking about about stories and like and like world building in hacks earlier.
That will have
I
that.
feel like-
We will have lore signs in that game that kind of tell, how did the level become what it is now in this game?
Yeah. What's it called? But I feel like instant warps could also do a big deal in terms of like world building. Because
Go on.
because what's it called? When you have like a cave and then when you have like an entrance to a cave and then you have to go into a warp, spend like 5 seconds to get out of the warp. Sometimes it feels like the cave is disconnected from the level itself, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's another point. Not even that, but like, even if something like, what's it called? As you were saying, with like all the psychedelic tunnels as you were talking about earlier, or
Yeah.
whatever you were saying, that's an example of world building that could be done with instant warps.
Well, I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
just an extension of, again, a more
Yeah.
practical, normal usage of it. Obviously, when you're telling a more traditional story, you're going to end up in a pretty linear format.
Yeah.
So, like with linear storytelling, right? Like, you don't just want to use act changes. You might want to do a change in the overworld or something. You know, somewhere, or you
Yeah.
might not have acts in your game. So, like, being able to have an area not just change its objects, but like actually
Or
change
change the whole
what's in it.
appearance.
You know, like say I don't know, you had a
Yeah.
town, and in the events of it, I don't know, say like Star 3, you are in an area where you're like jumping across of cars and stuff, and you collect stuff.
Yeah.
And then like Act 4, you come back to the town, and there's like a car crash, you know, or a massive car.
Oh yeah.
Something
I feel
like
like
that.
you can actually. I feel like you can actually do that with like a custom not like an actual like behavior custom object, but just like a regular custom object with like no
Sure,
behavior.
maybe it's a bad example. I mean, but like
Yeah.
having a hole blown
No.
in the wall or a big
No,
pit
no,
suddenly
no.
from the
No, I
events
was
of your
trying to
book.
explain how you could do that. I was like, you can have a custom object that's act specific, and on the top of the custom object is an instant warp that takes you to the different area that corresponds with the different act. If that makes any sense.
Oh,
That's
right,
what-
yeah,
Yeah, that's how you can do that with instant warps.
yeah, fair enough. But yeah, just like showing the passage of time, it's really useful.
Yeah, I could definitely see that now.
That's probably like the most of the time when I'm cloning an area, it's purely just to
Yeah.
have it work differently the next time I'm
Yeah,
there, or have a different skybox or level background. Rather.
I'm pretty sure it's fine to talk about Mario Can't Remember since it was like it's been like it's been a
I don't
long.
think
It's
gonna be
almost a
spoiled for
year.
anyone.
Yeah, it's not going to spoil anyone. But whenever
Yeah.
whenever I was playing through that and like the world around me like progressed through time, it was actually kind of crazy.
Well, I'm glad you noticed that's what was happening. A lot of people didn't
Yeah.
really pick up on it. I
Yeah,
feel
like,
like
I didn't pick up on it for a little bit. I didn't pick up on it for like a few little bits until I noticed like later, like, wait a second, this area used to not be purple and now it's purple.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of like one of the downfalls of text in Super Mario 64, and where like the text engine would be good, right? Like in
Yeah.
the Sunshine, when you have hints, they're a different color, it all sort of stands out. So I think when people start playing where I can't remember, like they're just like, oh yeah, there's a character that just like says a thing. They're not really thinking about the fact that like in this game, every text box is really, really weighty. Like
Yeah.
you're meant to read into everything, and like that's
Yeah.
kind
put
of
the
also
puzzles
the reason
together.
why the difficulty gets so high is because I want you to dwell on things
Yeah.
that you're being introduced to before you reach the end of the game.
Yeah.
I want people to spend
like-
time with the ideas that are introduced before they hit the next section.
Yeah, it's kind of strange how like just so you know, there's gonna be like a lot of spoilers from Mario Can't Remember here for anyone that cares.
Yeah, Cax, leave if you're gonna get spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Don't leave.
Yeah, but what's it called? I really enjoy. Like this is like a big phrase for me. I really enjoyed when I originally played Mario Can't Remember. I really enjoyed how that hack, like throughout the whole hack, you kind of like being led into like the ending without even knowing it in a way. And I know that's like basic storytelling, but it's something I've never seen in like any other hack ever.
Oh, thank you.
Like, what's it called? How like the shroom has something to do with it. How like basically everything around you throughout the whole hack has like a lot of the hack has like something to do with the whole like ending.
Yep. I may as well go ahead and spoil it.
Yeah.
I would say not everything, but almost absolutely everything in the game is based on death.
Yeah.
And the end screen is the revelation that Mario is dead or has been dying for the entire game.
Yeah. And Luigi killed Mario.
Yeah, that's a lot of people
So
are like when
sad.
they finish it, they're not sure if that's what I was aiming for. If you 100% it, you get a text box that confirms, yeah, Luigi killed Mario. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it called? Yeah. Find it. Like it's also like kind of strange to see the the place where Mario like Tyler's Birdman place. It's also like it's a weird surreal feeling seeing that place before it's like corrupted.
Yeah.
Although, yeah,
There's a really dark story behind that. And
yeah,
maybe jump into that one after explaining other aspects of the game if we're gonna
yeah,
find the personal stories in them.
yeah. What's it called? Although honestly, I think that it could have been conveyed a little bit better that that area exists because it's actually kind of difficult to find out on your first playthrough.
I think it could have been conveyed a lot better, honestly. A lot of
Yeah,
people were like, I like it, but what does it mean? But like
yeah.
at the same time,
I'm saying that one little area, the what's it called? The area at that you can access to the starting game if you have the key, but you by the time that you get the key, you aren't in the first overworld, so you have to go back in time.
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like it might be easier to convey because whenever I've seen people play that, I'm just saying this from like a playability reason. I feel like that should be conveyed a bit better that you can go back in time and do that.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all. That's my entire point. But I also found that like
one day.
that one area like pretty actually like surreal to play through.
Yeah, I mean,
way.
like at the end of the day, it's just like your classic remix B3. You know?
Yeah. What was it? Say there's the city area with the the nightclub in it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something about. Is there anything in that that's related to like the actual? I can't remember.
Related to what?
I can't remember if there's like anything there related to the actual ending of the hack in the city area.
Sort of. I mean, mostly it's like on Star 6 you get
Oh
like
yeah.
more. But the only thing that's really in there is like the conversation with the DJ, which like
Oh yeah.
unless you've done all the conversations that are available in
Yeah.
+1, I don't think you really pick up much on the depth of what's happening there. There's actually a lot of text boxes that most people wouldn't know there. Like while people probably notice that like stuff is act specific for like things moving and stars being different, there's actually like a lot of text boxes on across the different acts as well.
Yeah, I probably haven't read all of the text boxes because of that. Because people see the thing that's in the same place and they don't think that the text boxes change.
There's also those
Yeah,
secret
so in
signs.
+1, the DJ is Toad until the last
Yeah.
star, and then the DJ is someone else.
Yeah,
And a
that's
lot of people
kinda
didn't talk to both of them, which
wow. Yeah.
that made me a little sad because it's like a juxtaposition thing. And the DJ in Star 6 in Course 1 is the DJ in Course 2, so it's sort of just like
Oh yeah.
Mainly that's just I'm a professional musician, everyone. Hi.
Yeah.
It's mainly just me sort of projecting some people I know into the game, and
He makes ports.
having a bit of a joke.
Yeah, I get it.
For DJs because I'm not a DJ.
What was it? Course 3, that was like the gold level. I think I actually went to course 4 first, but course 3, I find course 3 like a weird, like it's the first level where you like start to think like, is this place like completely real? Because you have this like first of all, if you go to that hole in the first thing, it gives a shout out to gives a shout out to Locomass.
And how I don't read signs, I think it said.
Oh yeah.
Ironically, each
Like,
beta
what's it
tester had
called?
like a sign in each level.
Yeah.
I mean, if you jump down to that cave
Yeah.
before there's a coin arrow pointing you to it, I think you haven't quite picked up on how I'm leading you through the cave.
Help,
Yeah.
save me. I'm trapped.
But what's it called? In the later act, whenever there's actually something else in the cave, what's it called?
I'm
follow
glad
that.
people go down there because like it must
Yeah.
be even more surprising when you're suddenly
Yeah,
in that fight.
yeah, yeah. What's it called? But yeah, it's like
There must be
kind of
no one on
weird.
the planet that expected that, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's like, what's it called? Like that's the part where you start to realize, like, is this place real? Because like you go into the mountain and then you realize, wait a second, there's a wrestling ring in the middle of the mountain. It's just like. Loca messes here because
Oh yeah, that's what it says. Shocking.
I don't even know what to say. Hey, it's just like it's literally like the funniest transition
It is kind of.
in my life.
It is a funny
It's like
transition.
setting up for the showdown in the middle of town and the cowboy narrative.
I remember you were
Yeah.
making the mask too. Like you were trying
You're
to
the
create
bad
that little wrestling outfit in the process as
No,
well.
dude,
That was great.
You finally created the showdown. This is just this guy making fun of you for not knowing why you're. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
especially like the quicksand on the wrestling ring floor. I mean, like,
Oh yeah, then
nobody
no one
expects
knows.
that.
Yeah, and thank goodness it kicks you out to like right outside of there. It doesn't kick you out
No,
to the
I
very.
wouldn't make you climb that again.
You know, hack creators do that more often. That's another thing that people should do more often.
Oh yeah,
I'll keep that in
sure,
mind.
You failure warp in boss fights and other areas.
Yeah.
Just back to the entrance to it, please.
We have a lot of what's it called? Directions to hack creators today.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, they need a lot of guidance.
Oh yes.
Yeah, especially people that normal.
In fact,
Well,
he's
I'm not
come
very good at
back.
the technical side of things, but like
Yeah.
the gameplay stuff, it's generally common sense. Even when I'm breaking those rules, I know what they are.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. What was it?
Yeah, don't do what I do. Do what I say. All right.
See, I've been tempted to like make. I'll talk about this later. It doesn't matter. What's it called? Course 4. Course 4 is kind of like. I don't know. Course 4 is kind of like the most not strange, but like it's definitely like another like surreal-ish course in my opinion. You get what I'm saying,
It does
Coles?
feel strange.
Yeah.
Like, what I wanted to have was like a progression, you know, like you climb a big
Yeah.
mountain, so it's snowy on top and it's not on the bottom, and like there's a changeover section in the middle.
Yeah.
The
I get
music's
what you're
just
saying.
like so dreamy from Donkey Kong Country as well, and
Yeah. It's just like
without even having like the actual like the names of the stars and like the dialogue with the bombs and stuff. Like I feel like that one just looks really nice, and it's just a shame that I screwed up the scaling because all the jumps are just like
all the jumps that are what?
too big.
Yeah, I mean you made the hack in like how many hours again? 56?
Oh, something like that. I don't know.
Whatever
That level I
was
made
out
in
from it.
like that outside bottom area, like I made that in like one sitting without testing it.
Yeah.
Like same for a lot of the rest near the end. Like Beat
It-
3,
it-
like didn't
yeah,
really get
it's-
much testing.
It's kind of required if the hack though. Thinking
Yeah,
about
and
it.
like going
Mhm.
back after you finished and fixing that it's probably more time consuming than people realize. So it's
I-
always
I
easy to
know
do it
exact-
the first time.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But in terms of like actual like atmosphere, I really like course 4, in my opinion. It's like my
Thank you.
favorite course in the game.
And you know what
In
it's
that
based
regard.
on?
What is it based on?
Mount Everest. Mountain in general.
Okay, I just figured
I
it
can
was,
see that.
Yeah, I figured it was just based off a mountain.
Well, yeah, I mean specifically any of like
Yeah.
the 8000ers, because there's stuff about the death zone, right? The death zone's a real thing. It's like
Yeah.
once you get to a certain height, there's not enough oxygen to sustain life anymore,
No,
and
you
the
could,
motherfuckers climb without oxygen, even though they know that, and like
you
you know,
could have put.
100 people a year just drop dead
Yeah, that
Why?
is crazy.
on a mountain.
You could have put
Uh-huh.
toxic gas at. You could have put toxic gas at the top, but thank goodness you didn't.
Well, the frustrating thing is like if you look at it from the perspective of the locals, man, like it's like it's not just dead bodies they've got to fucking try and
Oh
clean up.
wow.
Of course
Yeah.
they don't. It's like all of their garbage too. They just dump everything where they are.
It's crazy how much like mountain climbing has been like tourism now.
Mount Everest is their god.
Yeah.
That's their creator deity, and that's where all of their drinking water comes from. Like in Nepal. Like
Oh
it's
wow.
disgusting. Like
Yeah.
mountaineering is like probably one of the most white privileged things I've ever fucking heard of in my life, and that's why I'm fascinated by it, because I know a lot of people that have suffered a lot and they never deserved it.
Yeah.
And these motherfuckers go out of their way to fucking suffer. It's fucking amazing. They deserve to die. I've got no other thing to say about it.
Yeah. What's it called?
Be safe when you climb, basically.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself.
People just place flags and whatnot in some places as a marker. Okay, sort of. Basically, it's impossible to retrieve someone from like any real height.
Oh yeah, because it's so high up.
Well, like you freeze, right?
Yeah.
So a person goes from being like less than 100 kilos to being like 300 kilos.
Oh wow, yeah.
And like you're stiff as a board as well. So it's incredibly dangerous for anyone to try and take you down, because they're like being up there. The people who are trying to get your body, they're dying already, and normally they wouldn't be carrying shit, So it's like impossible. Often what they do is they'll just roll you off the path into a different section of the mountain.
If you want to climb a mountain, just play Celeste.
But
Or
like
Ice Climber.
It's really famous on Mount Everest that the climbers during a climbing season will just be like sitting next to the dead body of someone who died the day before, and like they're just like, I mean, because they're in the death zone, they're just thinking about their own survival. So like their attitude towards death becomes really callous, and like they don't help each other when they're struggling and stuff, which is like the most fucked up part. And
it sounds super like. It sounds depressing now. No.
Oh man, yeah. Like if you ever really like
the mountains were supposed to be cool.
Get into mountaineering disasters, because like wow.
I was expecting to get into the depressing talk with talking about this hack, because it's a major theme of the hack. I just wasn't expecting mountaineering to be like something like that.
Well, like just like with the wrestling, it's just like a personal interest. It's like you want to have strong theming, you want to have some variety, and it's it's not the real world. It's a surreal world that exists in the mind of someone who's dying. So it's like larger than life.
Yeah, you gotta think it out, actually, as I think about it. Like, why would like if Mario's like creating these like worlds in his head, like you have to think about. I know this is probably what you want me to think about whether after playing the hack. It's like, what exactly was like this is life about that caused him to think about that? What, that space hack? What are you talking about, Cadex?
Oh, my one.
Oh, the Super Event Horizon.
Is a spaceman gonna make a hack?
There's a very famous Russian science fiction story called Solaris by Vladimir Lam, very famous Russian writer. And there's a very famous movie of it, which is very, very good, and that's what it's based on. There's also another movie with George Clooney that's not as good, but you might have seen that one.
What was it?
Yeah, it's a sequel to Super Event Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
It should be done like in a week or so. It's very close to being finished. It needs to be tested though.
I was saying something. Do you want to talk about like your inspirations for Mario Can't Remember now? That like we talk about.
Yeah. Well, we didn't talk about Course 1 yet. Course 1.
Oh yeah. Were you going?
That's just straight out of my real life.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything particularly incriminating.
Yeah. I can understand.
How much reality are we prepared to express in this podcast?
I don't know.
We talk about Mario ROM hacks, so I don't know how far that goes. When it comes to reality.
Like, I guess like tailgate parties, or I don't know, like under a bridge, or a rave, or a full moon party.
I kind of get what you're talking about.
Yeah, only a certain number of the audience is probably really engaged in these types of activities. But
I haven't. I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure.
You're
A
just
thing
a
that
boy.
adults do when they socialize. It's particularly adults who like drugs. Is to go
no.
somewhere where there isn't going to be and do their music, you know. So in Australia, there's a very sort of famous cultural sort of thing that we do, which is the bush doof. We go doofing. So yeah, just go out into the deep bush, set up a really loud sound system, and play music while people take psychedelic drugs. Traditionally, it would be like psytrance, but these days it's kind of like anything electronic dance music, just locally produced stuff. You know,
Wow.
it's a very big sense of community because people are playing their own music for their friends. But also seen some of the most fucked up things in my life in that atmosphere. So
Wow.
interesting subject matter, I felt.
I have something to talk about, but I'm going to do it after the podcast, just out of like it's even heavier than what you're talking about. So
Sure. Well,
yeah.
disclaimer: I don't do drugs anymore.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago. The DJ Toad, the thing that he is rambling on about, talking about like all these allegories with mountains, and then later you get to paranoid peaks.
Yeah.
Anyone who has like been at a party in the bush and taken like DMT with their friends at sunrise will probably immediately recognize what's happening in that scene. Otherwise, I assume most people just think like LSD for most of the stuff that's happening in my game, and fair enough.
That's the quick answer.
Not gonna promote any nasty things, but specifically that's a DMT reference.
Yeah.
Be safe, kids. Don't do anything dumb.
Yeah.
Other than that, I have lost a lot of friends to suicide and overdoses.
Yeah. That's. Yeah.
Heavy subject. There's a fucking siren going past me. Do you have any questions?
Emergency.
Anything
Does
in particular?
anybody in chat have any questions? We were gonna do this like question segment at the end of these things, but we forgot about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
I just meant for
quick
you guys,
Q&A.
like what I'm talking about.
Oh,
The siren's pretty much gone. So Mips the bunny.
oh yeah.
Kind
Isn't
like
that
a duality thing going on there. So like on the one hand, that's meant to be just like Mips the bunny, you know, like he has a past association with Mario.
Yeah.
On the other hand, that's my dead friend John, who essentially was like I don't talk to my family. I was abused as a child and neglected and stuff.
Okay.
And I met him when I was a teenager, and he was essentially my brother. And when I was about 25, he hanged himself. So a lot of people feel that conversation is really weighty, but I don't think they really get what it is. It's like it's very sad.
I honestly don't remember anything about the MIPS, but
Neither does Mario.
Basically, how do I put this? When you've lost someone that is like that close to you, they're in your head forever. Like they will always live with you.
Of course.
When you're talking about preferring to forget, it's not that he wants to forget what happened in the sense like he doesn't want to forget that he had a friend and stuff. He wants to forget what happened to his friend.
Yeah.
In the case of suicide, I mean, it's often preceded by people pushing away all of their friends and being like finding it impossible to deal with their emotions and stuff. So often your last memories of these people are them being extremely angry with you. And like he was the closest person in the world to me, and I knew that he was struggling, but no one else did. And I was very much focused on raising my family at that point in time. my ex-wife was dealing with some really bad suicidal ideation herself, and rang me on the phone one night after we'd had a massive falling out, like I don't know, like 9 months before or something. And like he gotten really upset because like we're talking about something dumb, and I was just like, that's kind of racist. And then he just like spent like the next like 3 weeks writing emails about like how he's not a racist. And I was like, because I don't think you're a racist. Anyway, and he rang me, and he was just like, basically, he just wanted to like say he was sorry and goodbye, and then hung up, and it was really confusing, and I didn't know what was going on, and I found out maybe later that he hanged himself straight after that phone call.
Wow.
He at least wanted to make amends in some way before that happened. He didn't want to leave it off with the argument.
I get it.
He didn't want you to think of him that way.
Basically.
It's hard for me to talk about these things right now, especially when I don't want to say much.
Fair. Full
I
disclosure, I actually lost someone to the exact same thing at the start of the year during SRM, and it's been incredibly hard for me. So I'm not exactly
in like 2022.
able to talk about this stuff too easily at the moment.
Yeah. I'll talk
that's
about
okay.
I'll talk about what I'm talking about in like after the. I'm going to talk about a lot of this stuff after HackCast. I just can't right now.
All I know is I'll never hurt Mips again, especially in that game.
Yeah.
It always annoys me when people are rude to him. He's so cute.
Yeah. People always jump and put him into underwater and all that.
I've accidentally punched him a few times, I think.
Deep down, Mips is a friend.
Same thing happens to Toad, though, so...
Except the baby penguin. That's fine. You can kill that.
There is so B3. We'll come back to that now. This is going to be hard to talk about. I might disappear for sorry.
You might disappear for what?
A minute or two, just to clear my head after this. But
that's fine.
I almost died several times, but one time in particular, I don't know how much detail I should use. I have PTSD. So, like, this is incredibly traumatic for me to talk about, so I'll try not to...
Maybe we should, like, I don't know if we should talk about a lot of this stuff on stream. I feel like that conversation we had just earlier, I feel like that for, like, the stream stuff, after stream, I want to talk about more darks. I just, like, get it off my head.
Yeah, I want you. I want you.
I don't know how to word this, but like that conversation we had earlier about your friend, I feel like that's like the lowest it should go, if that makes any sense.
Like, it's fine to talk about it that deep. He just wants to do it outside because he just wanted like a general overview. It's like, oh, with the idea of this character, what the dialogue and all that comes from, how about the levels.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm very sorry if there's a difference between like stuff I want to talk about on the stream and not. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering this is a podcast.
Yeah.
This is a very... Maybe I should like add a warning for YouTube at
Instant
the
warps,
like,
man.
Just, like, yeah. Saying that like about halfway through the podcast, this gets very deep.
Warning: guest is Quills. Chronic depression, PTSD person. All I was going to say is that it's basically based on a near-death experience. I mean, I don't have to explain why. If you don't want me to. It's fucking chilling. But
the whole hack, you mean?
No.
Well, I mean the experiences too.
C3.
C3.
Like one last thing, the remix level.
Oh,
the mashup one.
Black and white version of it, and there's like a colorful version of it.
Yeah, I like that one.
Long story short, I got knocked out, and like my train of thought just turned into like really pretty music, just like really scary.
Wow.
But that's the general vibe I was going for, and we can leave it at that.
Yeah,
I like that level.
Maybe Should we? We're getting to like the point where we usually end the podcast anyway. Is there anything
Really?
else? Well, yeah, we usually go
We
for
still
like
have some
about.
more topics to cover.
Is there
Does
anything about
anybody have-
instant warps we haven't brought up yet? Very
Yeah.
important.
The
Well,
title
we're
for this
just
is gonna-
we're just
Instant
glad
warps-
you beat all the odds, that you're still here, and you beat all those odds. So that's very strong.
The
I
title
mean,
of this.
being a professional artist means that like you dedicate your life to your passions, regardless of
Oh yeah,
how much that hurts
Oh
you.
yeah.
And this is why people need to support artists. Like, I mean, it's really hard for like any like commercial value to be associated with what we do, but like, I mean, most people, they have something horrible happen to them. They move on. They learn to deal with it.
I can inspire projects too sometimes.
It's like in your brain forever. You overanalyze it. We have hard life, and like most of my friends that have dedicated themselves to the arts, I'm 33, they're dead.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. So like, yeah, support indie artists, please, because they're far better than any other artists I know.
It'd be inspiring too, because they even make song. Even when an artist they broke off a relationship or something, they can make a song out of that. Many artists have done that.
Yeah,
The simple
one of my
life.
favorite albums and short films is.
I have a lot I want to talk about after the stream.
Okay,
sounds good.
And I mean that goes for anyone. If anyone is dealing with subjects that are this extreme, they are incredibly difficult to talk about with people. You can contact me to talk about them. That's fine. That's always been a thing I've tried to maintain as like a
It's more bold than you think it is when you speak out about it. It's one of the bravest things you can do, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people like you got to stay positive when things are hard. You got to.
But it's not
move
always
on,
possible.
and that's absolutely not helpful to people with chronic depression.
That's what depression makes you want. It makes you think that nothing you do matters. It feels that that's your thought process for everything, which is the worst part about
people need to process and have people listen to them and know that people care, and that's what my community is all about.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we rating? Are we done here?
Who is streaming anyways? Is TB streaming again like last time?
No. It's there's Sev, and that's it. And there's also Phantom, but he's streaming Genshin Impact.
Oh,
so
lovely.
There's Sev and Sev.
Yeah, I think we're going for 7.
Yeah.
Classic.
Also, I love how I've just not been talking at all.
Emotional support.
I can understand, Kington. You probably don't have a lot to talk about.
KT, you made the chat, the Twitch chat, very lively. I must say.
I don't do much stuff aside from playing.
Yeah, it's okay. Again, you made the chat very lively. I dig those messages you made. I had to contribute, of course.
Okay.
Anyways, when Shake It and Wiley Wars?
Tomorrow.
So
Yes.
Playing Mario Party this whole time.
First I'm doing
That's the whole.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready to start the raid.
The server is up, by the way.
Hey, Sev. Excellent.
Yeah, we're raiding.
Hello.
Who else to start the raid? And also, he's running fantasy.
Well, anyways, if you missed this podcast, you can check it out in the YouTube highlights. If you enjoyed this episode, please give a like and comment, maybe. That'd be cool.
I'm gonna have. Did you local record this? Because I'm gonna have to put a warning in at the beginning.
I will next time. 2 weeks.
Okay. I'll just I'm gonna download it then off of Twitch and then re-upload it on YouTube. I'm not gonna use the Twitch uploader because I need to add a warning.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sequel to Mario Kart Remember, Luigi Can't Forget, going to be far fucking worse because I've had a lot of shit happen to me.
Does it have instant warps?
Okay, let's.
The
we're gonna get to 7 now.
Yeah.
Okay, the raid is starting now. Stop.
Ciao, guys.